right, okay, we're gonna talk about some weather some more. Basically, if you go to the website girlsinflight.org, anyone can go there, you can print out this, I think it's under tips, but this is an oral prep on the weather. So, question the examiner should ask you is, how do you normally obtain a weather briefing? Okay, you can go to 1-800-WEATHER-BRIEF and use that on the computer. You can call them on the telephone. You can use ForeFlight. There are other sources. Basically what we're looking for is a no. If I look at whatever source, if I look out the window and it's foggy, I got my no. That's an official source, okay? But I don't have to have an official source to get a no answer. If I'm looking for a yes, I need to be referring to official weather. If the TV weatherman says it's going to be clear all day, I'm not going to take that to the bank. Okay, I have to be able to explain where I got my weather, and I need an approved source. Okay, so the telephone, talking to a briefer. If you've never called a briefer, I'm going to recommend that you pull up your weather data on an iPad or your computer, whatever you use, and then call the briefer and ask for a briefing. Tell them you're a student pilot, you're getting a practice briefing. Those folks are very, very helpful. It's in their best interest to help you be a safer, better pilot. So what should be included in a standard briefing? Okay, we have multiple kinds of briefings. We have an outlook, what are we going to be doing tomorrow? A standard briefing, we're getting ready to go fly. An abbreviated, I've already got my standard briefing, but it's been several hours and I want to get an update. Okay, so I'm looking for adverse conditions. Again, earlier we talked about the clouds, the winds, all those kinds of things. If they say the words VFR not recommended, okay, you got to really dig down. I'm a instrument rated pilot. If I'm in a VFR only airplane, that VFR recommended means something different to me than it might to somebody who's not instrument rated. Okay, so and again, if I'm in an instrument rated airplane and I'm current, now VFR recommended. Okay, I'm not worried about VFR. I'm worried about ice, and I'm worried about fog, and I'm worried about other things.
You mean VFR not recommended?
Yeah, sorry, VFR not recommended. So we're looking at a synopsis, we're looking at current conditions, we're looking at the en route forecast, we're looking at the destination forecast, we're looking at the winds aloft, and particularly we're looking at NOTAMs, notice to airmen. So this could be a VOR not functioning. If I'm using that for navigation, it'd be really good to know that in advance. GPS outages, that would be really good because we all love our GPSs. Runways closed. If you only have one runway at your airport, that's a problem. Okay, if I'm going to an airport that only has one lighted runway but those lights are out, okay, yeah, that's a problem. So we understand if I'm looking for my notice to airmen. Okay, so the first thing the examiner should ask you is to maybe read, and also on the test question, a winds aloft forecast. So the winds aloft is going to have a 4-digit number. So if it says 27, the winds are 270 at 12, and then the next 2 digits are going to be, no, not going to be that much. It's going to be in Celsius, but it'll be, so the winds would be 270 degrees at 12, and the temperature is plus 10. If it has a minus number, it's a negative number. So understand the first 2 digits are going to be the direction, the second 2 digits are going to be the velocity, the last 2 digits are going to be the temperature. Okay, if we get up at high altitudes where we have some substantial winds, I was flying yesterday or day before, whatever day it was, the winds were 141 out of the west. Okay, significant winds. So how would they encode 141? 141 is kind of, if it's over 100, they add 50 here. So this would be 570, and then this would be at 41. Okay.
Wait,
so
2 plus 5 is 7, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
7.
Can't do arithmetic either. So 27 plus the 50. So I would get the wind 7741. Kind of like Okay, there's not a 77 on my compass. Okay, subtract 50, so the winds are 270. And then I know that I put an imaginary 1 in there, so 141. Okay, you rarely get that at the altitudes that we're typically flying, but that's kind of a fun question they like to ask. So we know how to read a winds aloft forecast. First two are the direction, next two are the velocity, last two are the temperature. If I've got something that's above a 360 here, you probably don't want to fly there. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So winds aloft, that's the first one. Area forecast, okay? And again, so these have changed depending on the technology, but we're just looking at what's going on across the, say if I'm flying from here going to Colorado, I need to know generally what's going on between here and there, the highs, the lows, what's developing along that route. So I'm going to be looking, get that area forecast. If I'm going to a specific destination, I want the METAR. What does that mean? Meteorological Aviation Report. Okay, so this is the local conditions at that specific airport. Okay, it only goes pretty much 5-mile circle, and even at that, the machine looks straight up. Okay, so we get the METAR. We're looking at what's going on there. It's going to give me the cloud heights. It's going to give me the visibility. It's going to give me the wind. It's going to give me the altimeter setting. A little bit other information. We'll talk about this some more. Then the other part, if I'm looking at this, I'm going to get my TAF, my terminal area forecast. So a terminal area just means that close in circle around that airport. It's not the whole area. So if I'm going to Gunnison, Colorado, I get the METAR and it tells me what's there. And then this TAF typically goes out 30 hours. So I can get what's going to happen. And again,
And it's still that 5-mile circle,
it's
right?
still in that 5-mile circle. It might be a little bit, I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
But understanding it's just about that terminal area, it's not a wide range. So, and sometimes we can look, here in Vernon we don't get a TAF. Okay, so what I do if I want a TAF, I look at what's west of us, I look at what's north of us, I look at what's south of us, I look at what's east of us, and that gives me an idea of what to expect right here in Vernon, Texas. Okay, and then I can also look at my area forecast, I can look at my prog charts, I can look at all kinds of things. So my TAF is pretty, in today's world, okay, for the written test, you have to learn to read these as they are in that supplement book. Okay, in the real world, don't have to learn to read how to encode them, okay, because I can hit a decode button on there and read it in plain language.
Yeah.
Okay, I know how to read them, I know how to encode them, okay, but it's kind of like learning shorthand. It's kind of a lost art. A couple things that are, if you see a dollar sign at the end of a METAR, that means one of the sensors in that system is not functioning. I tell you people, it says, I'm broke, spend money. Okay, so if something says missing, and then every missing sensor is going to have a dollar sign. So if you see multiple dollar signs, that system is just gone kaplooey. Okay, not judging, just, all right, what's going on? Don't know, not my job to know, but if you see the dollar signs, you'll understand why it says it's missing. And again, the METAR, it looks up, while we're talking about METAR, we can also talk about some of the different ways we get the METARs. Okay, we can get it off of our iPad. There's a weather, an app on my phone. It's called Aero Weather Lite. I love it. But what I'm looking at here is AWOS, Automated Weather Observation System. Okay, this is what we have here in Vernon, Texas. Okay, here in Vernon, Texas, I don't have the ability to change what the weather data is. Okay, so I can't go in there and say, ooh, I can see 20 miles, I'll make the visibility 20 miles. The airport manager doesn't have that ability. No one here has that ability to go in there and make a change to the weather, better or worse. Okay, this is a little bit of a problem because if I know the sensor is giving me that information, I have to call the flight service station and tell them to take it off the air. Okay, been there, done that. But again, automated, so there's no human intervention here. Okay, now the ASOS is almost the same as automated surface observation system. Okay, these exist typically at airports where there at times a certified weather observer on hand. Okay, not always, but when I was working in the tower, we had an ASOS. So as a certified weather observer, we could go in there and change the visibility. We could go in there and change the ceiling. We could go in there and make changes to that information. Okay, good to know, whoopee dippy. Okay, up in Guyman, Oklahoma, for instance, they have an ASOS. They don't typically have a certified weather observer on there. Okay, back up to this one here in Wilburger County, I can go back in there and I can record a NOTAM. Notice to airmen, runway 220 is closed. Runway 1634 is open. Or whatever happens to be going on. And I have the ability to do that. And I have the permission from the airport people to make those NOTAMs broadcast on this. Up there in Guyman, the airport manager, he can't change the weather because he's not a certified weather observer. And this machine doesn't have the ability for them to add a NOTAM information. So if you find out you're going into an airport that has an ASOS, it will not, cannot, won't have that NOTAM information added on at the tail end of the broadcast. Okay, and it's your job to know that. You're like, no.
Yeah.
And then we have an ATIS, Automatic Terminal Information Service. So this is typically at your towers. So I'm in the tower, I look at the ASOS, Lawton Tower Information Alpha, wind 150 at 8, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to give you the ceiling, I'm going to give you the visibility, I'm going to give you the winds, I'm going to give you all that information. And active runway is runway 17, just whatever I need to tell you. All the taxiways that are closed, I can amend that as needed. Okay, we're going to change, this AWOS is going to automatically come up with, this is what we call the 1 minute weather. 1 minute weather. So this thing updates every minute. So if you're listening to it, you're kind of like, okay, it's changing every minute. This one is also changing every minute, at least on the values that are in there. ATIS only changes when the controller says it's time for a change. Okay, if these values have gone above or below a certain point, then we'll issue a new ATIS. But this is recorded by the controller. And we talk, and then we talk about the METAR. We also have the METAR. We also have a special weather. So it's gone through certain, so the ATIS is going to be giving you the METAR, which taken it off a particular broadcast off this. We don't update this every minute, obviously. So the METAR are a special. If we have the weather goes through certain parameters, we record a special ATIS or special weather. If we have an aircraft accident, we'll take a special observation. And again, this is kind of a supplement to these, not, again, we're certified weather observers, so we can take a special observation in addition to what the machines are saying. So we're going to take a quick break here. We've been talking for 13 minutes.
Okay.